Hi, I'm Gary Parker, owner of the Wine Cellar Brasserie here in San Diego, California, and with me is...
Hi, I'm Myers McDougall, the sommelier of the brasserie, and we have a little Château Seran, is that pronounced correctly?
Seran, I think that's close enough for horseshoes.
And what vintage do we have? Is the
2005.
Another good vintage for us?
Heralded as brilliant.
Excellent.
Actually, and this is from the Medoc region of Bordeaux, which is also one of their... we're more familiar with Medocs than probably any other kind of Bordeaux appellation that we get here in the United States. This is, I've never seen this label before, so it's my first time enjoying this wine, but it is definitely a powerhouse. Once again, as we were talking earlier about another wine, this wine has big extraction. It's larger than life for Bordeaux. Although it's 65% Merlot, it tastes like there's a lot of Cabernet in it because of the structure. It has a real vertical feel to it.
Yeah, as soon as you tasted it, that's the first thing that you said. I thought that had more Cabernet, but... You know, I just thought of, that's a great thing to mention to everybody, is the temperature. I think this wine is a perfect temperature.
Yeah.
It's got a nice feel to it. It's just slightly cool, which is great. You don't want to serve your wines too hot. You want to make sure to keep it at a nice 58 degrees or just about that temperature. And then maybe pull it out just a couple minutes before you're going to drink it, let it sit for a second, and let it come to fruition. And you can actually taste it, go through the different levels of, as it warms up, you start to get a little bit more fruit. But I think at the slightly cool temperature, you find some of these Bordeaux show very well.
I think that's a great point. And a lot of people drink their red wines too warm.
Yeah.
Room temperature, at least here in San Diego, is too warm.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the kitchen. Everybody likes to keep their wine in their kitchen because it's close to their stove, but you know, half the time that stuff's going to cook. Keep it away from your stove, keep it in a cellar here, keep it away from your wife, like we've been saying the whole time. You know, have a little cubby, hole somewhere, you know? And don't give me any trouble again.
But there's an intrinsic enjoyment about having a red wine that's slightly cooled and then having it come back up to temperature. And as it comes out of the cellar at 57, 58, as Myers had mentioned, and generally comes up to room temperature, you can taste more and more and more of the wine as it warms up. And once it's hot, mostly you taste is alcohol.
Yep.
and tannin. Yep. And then the fruit it's really masked.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back to this thing, yes, it is. Besides being the perfect temperature, it's also a great Medoc wine. Yeah,
it tastes, the fruit's really integrated, like you said, with the Cabernet. It's 65% Merlot, 15% Cab Sauvignon, with 10% Cab Franc and 10% Petit Verdot. So a classic blend, except we're out the Malbec. And I think, to me, it actually doesn't taste like you have the other varietals in there. I really taste a good Merlot Cab blend, which is nice because a lot of times I'll use the other varietals to substitute for a poor season or wet rain or whatever. I guess rain's always wet. 2005 was an epic vintage as it was, so they're using this fruit to help with the integrated flavor profile, which is nice.
Yeah. Well, they might have had some dry rain in 2005. I think that's what made it such an exceptional vintage.
That's amazing stuff, isn't it? So this was the January 2010 Wine Club.
Yeah. And
it was about $40 suggested retail.
Yes.
A little bit under that.
Yes.
And fun wine to lay down here. I think the fruit's showing really well, and we've got 2005 vintage. This stuff will 10, 20 years still really show well. You can taste the oak on it enough, and when you get that, it tells me, put it down in my cellar. Try to keep it away from the, my friends, and just hoard it a little bit until I'm ready to drink it. So
yeah.
They'll share it. I will.
Yeah. That brings up another point. If I buy a case of wine like this, I will try it in a year or two, and then a year or two later, and so by the time 10 or 15 years comes along, I may only have 6 of them left. Yeah. But at least the wine didn't go bad. From having, we rent wine lockers to people here, and we have 250 individuals who collect wine, and we store it for them under perfect conditions. And I've seen so many guys go back there and pull out a case of wine that they should have drank 5 years ago. And oh, I forgot it was there. Oh, did it go bad?
Yep.
And so it's not easy just to sock away a case of wine and not touch it unless you know the pedigree is unquestionably the best. Right? If it's a Mouton or a Latour and you know it's going to last forever and ever, then you don't need to do that. But on wines like this, where you don't necessarily have a tasting history or experience with them, you need to go back and try them.
Yeah, I agree. Wine's there to be drunk, but it's always fun to wait, and it's kind of like your little precious jewel. You see what happens to it in 10 years, and that's why you taste it, because if it's starting to turn, or if you think you see a little bit of inconsistency, drink it.
Yeah.
Grab the case, I ask a couple friends over, and throw some steaks in the grill.
Yeah. Definitely.
Cheers.
Cheers.